Hi guys, welcome to the second part of this week's Coffee and Hero Show, taking you through the new single issue releases into the store. Pretty packed week this week, big delivery to process, hence this is being done on Wednesday morning as opposed to Tuesday evening. But before jumping into the single issues, a quick confession: I've taken you through all of the graphic novels and collected editions and so forth that went into the store this week. I had missed a pile that were beside on the side of the counter, so I thought I'd just throw them in here. So a couple more out this week. We have Marvel's Gods. This was from Jonathan Hickman and Valerio Schiti. This was basically looking at the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe, introducing new characters. Essentially the tagline was Jonathan Hickman reinvents the cosmology of the Marvel Universe. 8-issue miniseries, really good stuff. Next up we have Green Lantern War Journal. So this is so far, this is coming from Phil Kennedy Johnson with Montos on art. It's looking at a new Green Lantern who's ironically enough named after a customer of this store, which is rather cool. I'll leave you to discover that part on your own. But yeah, this contains the first 6 issues of Green Lantern War Journal, as well as some stories from the main Green Lantern title as well. Next up is Batman and Robin, Father and Son. So Joshua Williamson, Simon DeMeo on this title, The Dawn of the Dynamic Duo. Again, this collects the first 6 issues as well as the annual. Next up is a Marvel Modern Era Epic Collection, Deadpool and Cable. This is volume 1. This is covering 2004 to 2005. So this collects Cable and Deadpool numbers 1 to 18. So rather timely given certainly the success of the movie. Next up, Elseworlds Volume 1. I think I mentioned this before about DC are doing new printings for the Elseworlds stuff. So you've got Elseworlds Batman, over the next few weeks you'll see Elseworlds Superman, Elseworlds Justice League, etc. So this is the first volume, contains tons of the great Elseworlds stuff. So of course in Elseworlds, heroes are taken from their usual settings and put into strange times and places. So this one features Batman as a holy priest, Harry Houdini alongside the Dark Knight, Dr. Wayne reanimating a Frankenstein-like Batman, Batman as a Green Lantern, a supernatural Batman fighting the evil wizard known as the Dark Joker, a future Robin fighting off an alien invasion, and other tales. And then we finish off with Birds of Prey Volume 1 Megadeth. So this is Kelly Thompson with Leonardo Romero on art. This is it's a beautiful book, but B, this is just a fun book with tons of heart. This contains the first 6 issues of Birds of Prey. Again, I've been reading that in single issues and very much enjoying it. So yeah, just a late couple of additions there to the graphic novels this week. So to take you on the single issues, and as I said, is a pretty packed week this week with some pretty big releases. So looking at the variants first, we have Batman 151, Guillaume March doing a variant cover there. This issue revolves highly around Batman and Catwoman working together, hence the Bat-Cat dynamic on the front. Next up we have Absolute Power, so we're issue 2 this week. This is the Nathan Zerdy variant cover. This week sees the start of a 4-week event on Gotham City Sirens, so it's going to be a weekly release. We've got a couple of different variant covers for it. So first of all, we have Guillaume March. This is the start of a connecting cover. We do have the other ones ordered, part 2, part 3, part 4. So hopefully if someone picks this up, we can certainly set you down for the rest of the connecting cover. That connecting cover also comes with sort of a UV gloss finish. I don't know how much that comes across, or it just looks like the same cover. Guess you'll just have to pop into the store and see it in person. Next up we have Gotham City Sirens, so Raza doing a variant cover here. This is part of DC's really weird variant covers, which is swimsuit variants. Go figure. So we move on from there and on to Marvel, and again there's quite a bit when it comes to Marvel, as there are some big releases this week. And also some cool variants coming all the way from San Diego Comic-Con 2024. So first of all, we have a variant cover for Amazing Spider-Man 53. These are, I think all the San Diego Comic-Con ones are limited to 3,000. Love you 3,000 and all that. So Amazing Spider-Man 53, as I say, Ed McGuinness, that's SDCC exclusive variant. Next up we have Daredevil. So this is an incentive variant. So this was a retailer incentive 1 to 10 for Daredevil. Just absolutely glorious work there from Gabriel Del Otto. A big release this week for Marvel as well is Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood. This is an anthology book, different creators each time, and looking over the Black Suit era of Spider-Man. So first of all, we have the inevitable Scotty Young variant cover first of all. Move away from there and on to the retailer incentive 1 to 25 variant cover by Ron Friends. One of my favourite ones is the M.R. Garson variant cover. M.R. Garson always takes loads of like images from the past and collages them together. I think there's another variant through here as well, but I just really love the effect of it. I think it's pretty sweet. Speaking of Spider-Man, you've got the SDCC 2024 exclusive variant cover by Carrie Andrews. This is for Spider-Man Reign #1. We have the Uncanny X-Men this week. Again, another big release. I read this morning. It was great. Gail Simone and David Marquez. So this is the retailer incentive 1/25 variant cover from Lionel Yu. We have the Negative Space variant cover by John Tyler Christopher. So showcasing Jubilee there. Yep, there is the M.R. Garson one as well for Uncanny X-Men. We have a Steven Segovia variant cover as well. Again, just showing off the main team there with Nightcrawler, Rogue, Jubilee, Gambit, and Wolverine. And then we finish off with another SDCC exclusive. So SDCC 2024, Tony Daniel doing it for X-Men #1. And then another couple still to come, which we're hiding in behind. Again, another Marvel one, another big title this week is Venom War, a new 5-issue miniseries kicking off for Battle of the Venoms. So first of all, we have the Negative Space variant by John Tyler Christopher, as well as the Scotty Young variant cover as well. And then we finish off Venom War with the Team Eddie variant cover by Philip Tan. I believe these will be a set of connecting covers as well across the 5 issues. And then a couple of indie ones for you here. So a few weeks ago we had the release of EC Comics being reintroduced, and it was EC Comics Epitaphs from the Abyss. So that was focused on horror. So we now have Cruel Universe. This is focusing more on fantasy and sci-fi. This is the 1/10 variant cover by Jay Stevens. And then we finish off variant covers with Scarlet issue 3. This is the Marcio Takara variant cover as well. So moving on to the main side of the titles then. So we kick things off with Absolute Power #2. I may have already read it. It may be class. You'll have to find out for yourself. But yeah, this is obviously all leading towards this, sort of event that's going to happen in the DC universe that's going to lead to the Absolute Universe. So highly, highly recommended that. We've still got #1s on the shelves, and also the Ground Zero issue that takes place before that. Batman 151 I'd mentioned before through the variants. Again, an Absolute Power tie-in, and again, this is a Catwoman, a Batman team-up issue. We go from there on to some more wholesome stuff with Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries. Issue 8 of this, obviously an all ages title. I'd mentioned before Birds of Prey, again reaching issue 12. So you've got the trades in this week for 1-6, and then this is issue 12 in terms of these singles. One of DC's best titles, I think, this year has been The Boy Wonder from Juni Ba, the exploration of what it means to be a Robin. Damian Wayne focused title, and it has lived up to every expectation. We have Gotham City Sirens, so I mentioned there with the variants. Terry Dodson doing the main covers, and again, this will be a 4-issue series with weekly releases. Next up, we have the last issue of Kneel Before Zod. So finish off that 8-issue mini series. We have the all-ages linking title to the animated show, My Adventures with Superman, Super Arrest. So as far as issue 3 there. So moving on from DC and on to Marvel. So first up we have Avengers #17. This is a bit of a jumping on point. We've got Valerio Schiti taking over art duties. So of course the artist on Gods I've mentioned before. So again, From the Ashes, A New Beginning, Storm taking over. The Avengers, Jed MacKay and Valerio Schiti. So again, a good starting point if you're looking to get into Avengers. A spin-off title from the recent Blood Hunt event is Blood Hunters, which is bringing in a vampire-esque Miles Morales. So that is going to be a 5-issue mini-series. Next up, we have Daredevil. So issue 12, this was awesome as well. This is basically a massive fight between Kingpin, a supernaturally charged Kingpin, and Daredevil and Elektra Daredevil. Next up, Doctor Strange. So reeling from the events of the end of Blood Hunt, I would say this is pretty key to continuing on the continuity. Obviously, Stephen Strange is no longer the Sorcerer Supreme for reasons, which I'll not throw out there just in case you haven't read Blood Hunt #5. It's great though. Incredible Hulk reaches issue 15. So Philip Kennedy Johnson continuing on with his Hulk run. Danny Earls on art, nice local artist. We have, I've mentioned it before, so Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood. So this is essentially the latest in Marvel's long line of sort of black, white and red anthology books. And again, going back to a time of Spider-Man with the black suit. So we've ordered pretty big in that. I think that's going to be a big one. We move on from there and on to Spider-Man Reign 2. Issue 2 is this week. Carrie Andres continuing on his post-apocalyptic Spidey title. We have some Star Wars stuff now. So Star Wars High Republic number 10. Century Before the Acolytes. We have Star Wars Inquisitors number 2. Number 1 was a pretty big seller, so I'm sure plenty will be back for issue 2. Ultimate wise, we have Ultimate Black Panther this week, so reaching issue 7. I would say essentially sort of starting off a new story arc. I would imagine the trade's going to collect the first 6 issues, though it does feel a bit more like a bigger narrative that's just sort of split down into chunks rather than like a defined new storyline. The Ultimate Spider-Man Juggernaut just continues. We're up to a 7th printing of number 1. So again, if you haven't jumped on for all the hype yet, you've still got a chance. Absolutely brilliant. Arguably Marvel's best title at the moment. But yeah, I mentioned the latest X-Men launch this week, which is the Uncanny X-Men. Gail Simone, David Marquez. As I say, I read this morning. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Really good art. Really nice world being set up. It's dealing with the fallout from Krakoa, but it doesn't dwell on it. So even if you're a new reader, it's not like you'd be massively confused or anything. But yeah, I was really, really impressed with that. Speaking of Uncanny X-Men, we have a facsimile for Uncanny X-Men 266. So first appearance, of course, of Gambit. That's very well timed, isn't it, with current events? Outside of that, we have Venom War. So I've mentioned this before. So this is the big Venom event heading for the summer. So Al Ewing, Ivan Quello on art. It's basically going to be the battle for the symbiote, who is Venom. I think that's actually going to be really good. That's a very strong team on it. And then we finish off the Marvel stuff with Wolverine Deep Cut, which of course is one of Marvel's sort of retro titles. And this is issue 2. Chris Claremont continuing to work on that. So we move on from there and on to the indie stuff. There's quite a bit to get through. We have Kanto Place Like Home, issue 3. So continuing on the final story of the Little Tin Knight. We have Cowl, 1964. So if you're a Radiant Black fan, if you're a fan of the Massiveverse, for example, you'll see the Massiveverse branding on there. Kyle Higgins continuing to build out that universe at Image Comics. We have Cyberforce, which is a one-shot. So a little bit of retro Image goodness for you there. I'd mentioned, of course, Cruel Universe. You had that homage variant 1-10 cover. You also have the glorious Greg Smallwood cover for this one. Just screams 1950s sci-fi. Issue 2 of the superhero book from Kurt Busiek, Fabian Nicieza, and Stephen Mooney. Free agent hits this week, so issue 2. We have a new number 1 for Garfield. Based on the Garfield movie. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I do love me some Garfield. Anyone who's grumpy and hates Mondays and loves lasagna, I cannot like that. Godzilla Here There Be Dragons 2, Sons of Giants. So this reaches issue 2. Continuing on the Godzilla book, we have Gunslinger Spawn, issue 34. So Todd McFarlane, Carlo Barberi continuing on art. I said this to someone yesterday. It continues to be the most popular Spawn title. You know, it's even more popular than the main Spawn title, so make of that what you will. Next up we have Disney's Hercules, so we reach issue 4. So we're really building up the Disney back issues as well. So for those younger readers out there, those Disney fans, there is a Disney box in the Marvel section, and we have been building that out more and more. Next up, we have a Starhenge graphic novella, so for anybody who was on Starhenge, which was a 6-issue series from Lane Sharp, written and drawn by them. Deep sci-fi fantasy, little one-shot, oversized 64-pager here out this week. Next up, we have Prodigy, Slaves of Mars. So this is continuing on the Prodigy book from Mark Millar, which is all about the smartest, most trained, most driven man in the world. Next up, we have Public Domain from Chip Zdarsky. So he continues his exploration of the comic industry. Not always a flattering one, it has to be said, but a very, very well-written book. And Zdarsky draws, so a rather good-looking book as well. Next up, we have Red Before Black. So this is Stephanie Phillips and Goran Sudzuka. So really like that creative team. Seems to be crime noir. Of course, there's a copy on my stack. I'll look forward to that. We have Scarlet issue 3, which showed off the variant, of course, before. Here is the cover A for Kelly Thompson and Marco Ferrari's continuation of Scarlet. Speaking of Spawn, we have Spawn Misery. This is a 4-issue mini-series, so I think we have issues 1 and 2 in the back issue base. So issue 3 this week. We have Spawn the Scorched as well, just to continue on the ridiculous amount of Spawn titles. That reaches issue 32. We finish off then with Walking Dead number 94. So Walking Dead Deluxe, we're building up, of course, to the big reveal of Negan at issue 100. So yeah, so a pretty packed week this week, tons of quality. You know, continuing on the absolute power stuff with DC, new X-Men launch, great looking Spidey book for Marvel, just tons of great stuff all around. So as ever, pull lists are all organized and ready for collection. Here's my buy, try, monthly appeal, whatever. If you have a pull list with us, please pick it up. I had to take out another 3 pull lists this week. They were pull lists for people who have been coming to us for a couple of years and just no contact, no pickup in 5-6 months, which is already far longer than any other store will ever hold titles for you. But I just reached the point, I can't keep getting stuff in if people aren't picking it up. So if you do have a pull list with us, please pick it up. If you wouldn't like one anymore, it is no problem. Just please let us know and then we can cancel it. But otherwise, everything's all good. Pull lists are good to go. A rather good delivery from Diamond this week, only 1 or 2 small things missing. So hey, that's a positive. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this, guys. Hope it proved useful. Look forward to seeing you in store soon. Take it easy.